Hello, welcome again. So, you want to be an international teacher? One of the first documents you will be asked to make by the agencies or recruiting personnel is your CV. So, today I'm going to share on how you can create a winning international teacher resume. And, guys, I believe if you include what I'm going to share in this video, you're going to push your CV up that pile of international applicants. All right, but before I do, guys, I would want to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. I share about teaching opportunities in the US for international educators. So subscribe so that you can follow on the different issues that I discuss in my channel. All right, guys, so you have been asked to write that resume or a CV, as some people call it. All right, guys, what I'm sharing today is based on my own experiences, the way I would write my resume, my basic research, guys. So this is not shared from a HR professional point of view, but from my own experiences. So if you feel you will need the services of a professional HR, please go ahead and seek out the people who can help you in that aspect. Obviously, a resume is that document that you write that has a summary of your qualifications and a summary of your work experience, which we send to recruiting personnel when we are seeking a job. But guys, I like to see your resume as your salesman. Why? Because this resume is supposed to speak for you. It's the document you put in front of the HR personnel. You are not there in person. So this is the document that is supposed to speak for you. It's supposed to sell you. So guys, you want to put your best points in that CV. You want to highlight your strengths. You perhaps want to downplay your weaknesses, so to speak. Because, for example, if you feel maybe your GPA was not the highest, then you may not want to mention it on the first page of your CV. You just want to say, I have a bachelor's degree. You don't have to mention your GPA if you feel that is not a strength for you at the beginning. But guys, if for example you have a PhD, you have a master's degree, if you had a high 4.0 GPA or close by, those are your strengths and you may want to bring them right at the front of the CV so that they can catch the eye of the recruiting personnel. So, guys, to me, the most key thing as you write your resume, ask yourself, what is it the HR would want to see? What are they looking for? What would they want to hear? What are my strengths? And those are the things you highlight in strength on your resume. Okay, so one of the questions I get asked very often is, so what format should I use? And guys, I will tell you, for me, formats really is not the main focus thing. In other words, there are very many formats out there you can use, and many formats are acceptable. So I would say what you really need to focus on is the content of that CV, content of that resume. Content is king. So the HRs are aware that these international teachers are coming from different countries, different regions. Formats may vary in terms of what you put before what, but guys, what matters is the key information that is required in that CV. Okay, that is not to mean you shouldn't have some kind of format. Obviously, you should, but really, if you put one thing maybe above the other, I wouldn't say it's a very much big deal of anything. Just make sure the key important thing that an HR would want to see is in your resume. And I'm going to share 7 things that I feel are the most key that an HR would want to see in a teacher's resume. And you guys can tell me in the replies if you feel something extra or something different should be included in a teacher resume. But remember to keep it simple, guys. I'll tell you, everyone in the education circles knows what a teacher does. They know what a responsibility of a teacher is. So you don't really need to make it too long, guys. Our job in the classroom is really known. So keep it simple. I usually advise you go for 1 or 2 pages maximum. You don't have to drag it to 5 pages. The HRs are dealing with probably hundreds, possibly in some cases thousands of documents. You don't want to burden them with flipping through 5-10 pages of your CV. Keep it simple, highlight the key things, and guys, you will be successful. So what are these key sections that I feel are the most important in a teacher resume? Number one, guys, contact information. Obviously, they want to see your name, your phone number, and at least your email address. But you can also include your location, maybe your state and city. Some people have LinkedIn profiles that have more information about them. You could include a link about that if you want to. Number two, guys, a professional summary. Some people include or call it a teaching philosophy, but this should be a brief statement, possibly just 2 to 4 sentences. Don't make it too long. It should be about your teaching experience, your core skills, and your key achievements. And I will show you what this could look like when I show you some sample of a teacher resume. Number three, guys, you want to highlight your education. Okay, so many international jobs or teaching jobs will require that you have at least a bachelor's degree. So I'll tell you guys, one of the things an HR wants to see in your document is, do you have that basic minimum requirement? Do you have a bachelor's degree? So this is very key, and this is why you need to include it in your first page. So include your degree. If you have a master's, if you have a PhD or doctorate degree, include it. Have the name of the institution where you got it and the year of graduation. That's the most important thing. But guys, if for example you graduated top of your class, that would be a good selling point to include. So you can include it together with your education. Let the HR know that you are the best in your class. All right, guys, the next thing is you need to include your teaching experience. Okay, so talk about whether you're teaching elementary school, high school, junior high school, or whatever other level you're teaching, the name of the institution, and obviously the employment dates. And guys, I think this is where I have seen a lot of what I would see as weaknesses in teacher CVs for, the teachers, some of the teachers who have sent me their CVs to review them. Because some teachers, under teaching experience, they actually talk about responsibilities and duties they had. Guys, like I said before, everyone in the teaching education circles knows what our job in the classroom is. So you don't need to repeat the duties and responsibilities. In my opinion, you don't need to repeat that to an HR. Instead, what you should be talking about is, what did you achieve in those duties and responsibilities? Highlight your achievement, guys. And this is where what we call action verbs become very important. And I'll be talking more about those action verbs and how you can use them in talking about your teaching experience. Number five, guys, and this is very important, is certifications and licenses. If your area of teaching, for example, has certifications, especially teachers of language, there are these, like the TESL or TESOL certifications. If you have them, this is a good thing to highlight. If you are certified, for example, as a teacher in one of the US states, you want to include this in your CV. Let them know as an international teacher, you are already certified in one of the states, because it's possible to register even as an international teacher to be certified in one of the US states. If you have other certifications, if for example you've done the praxis test, I would include it under these certifications and licenses. It's good for an HR to know you've done the praxis test and you have passed your praxis test. If you have other qualifications like the national board, teacher certifications, you could include those as well. Number 6, guys, that you could include is the different skills that you feel you have. Just pick a few of them, don't include so many. If you pick maybe 5 or 4 to 6 skills that you feel I am strong in these, you can include them in your teacher resume. Guys, number 7, and probably this is the one that is closing my top 7 of what to include in a teacher resume, is references. Guys, very key. Some HRs want to call back and hear what your principal has to say about your job, hear what your deputy principal has to say, hear what your HOD has to say about you. So guys, include 3 references. And it is best if you can include your principal, a deputy, and that's a HOD. Some agencies will actually insist on having these 3. But if it is not restricted, then you could have other people, like maybe a colleague in addition to the deputy or the deputy principal, or a former deputy, a former principal. But guys, it's good to get the current supervisors, include their names, include their phone contact, and their email addresses. Guys, I've seen some people in this part of references writing that your references are available on request. And to me, guys, I don't think this is a good idea, because think about it, guys. An HR is perhaps flipping through 100 CVs. You don't want to give them extra job, like you're telling them, call me back so that I can give you my references. No, guys. I am sure there are other competitors who will have their references right there. I will tell you personally, if I was an HR and you told me to call you back and I have another option, I would go with the person who has already included their references, guys, just to save on my time. And so I think it's very important to include your references right at your CV, and not just to write that it's available on request. Other things you could include, personally, I see these as optional. But if, for example, you feel there are areas that you really have strengths in, you could include them in your CVs. For example, if you are big on professional development, you have done many conferences, maybe you feel that are very key to your job, you could include them. Guys, some teachers are very, very big on awards and recognitions. If, for example, you won the Teacher of the Year award in your country, in your state, this is a big thing in the teaching circles, guys. It's good to show the HR that you have won some awards. So if you have those big rewards, it's important to include them. Just include it in your CV. Guys, if you are into extracurricular activities, it's a good thing to mention. Not big on extracurricular activities. The ones you've done, you could include them under your work experience. But if you are big on this, then you may make it a separate section and talk about your extracurricular activities. If you are a coach in some sports, if you lead some student clubs and organizations, it's good to talk about them. You can have a separate section for them. But if not, you can include some of them under your work experience as part of the duties that you achieved within your school. All right, guys, finally, you can also include volunteer work. If you have done some volunteer work that you feel demonstrate your leadership or mentorship skills to students, you could include them as an option as section in your CV. So, guys, you don't have to include these 11. Personally, I feel the first 7 I shared are very key. I would maybe include 1 extra or 2 if I really feel it was important to me. But otherwise, guys, I think if you include the first 7, those are good enough, and they make your CV very acceptable in the eyes of any HR professional or a principal who is hiring. As I mentioned, that when you're talking about your work experience, you want to use, I call, and it's called action verbs. These are verbs that show what you actually achieved within your school. So, guys, instead of talking about just the duties and responsibilities you had, why don't you pick some of these words? If, for example, you say, I spearheaded this initiative that helped students to improve in their grades. I mentored teachers who are on internship or teaching practice. I trained, I guided. If you're talking about technology, you talk about, I applied, I integrated, technology 1, 2, 3 in my class that made my classes, more interactive to students, enhance the learning experience. Guys, it makes it more powerful. It makes it more powerful. It shows actions that you've already taken. It shows that you identified some challenge, you identified problems, you came up with solutions, and there was some productivity out of your initiatives. Okay, guys? If you're talking about assessments, you could say something like, I evaluated, I measured, I monitored in collaboration with other teachers. I partnered with teachers in a nearby school to come up with a program, of core teaching, for example. So that makes it very powerful, guys. I partnered, I coordinated, I engaged, I participated. All these action verbs show things you have already done, you have achieved within your teaching circles. And there are many you could use. I diagnosed, I enhanced, I improved. I don't know about you, teachers, but if I was an HR, I want to see these actions. I want to see achievement of what you have been able to do. And there are so many more you could use. I managed, I coordinated, I mentored, I counseled, I supported, I coached, students in a game, in a sport, and so many other things. I initiated, I formulated, I revamped, I designed a program to help students who are lagging behind in math, for example, resulting in a 20% improvement in scores. You know, if you're into science, you can talk about what you assemble, what you build to help your school, and so on and so forth, guys. So there are many words. These are not the only ones. I just picked a few to show you what you could do. And guys, you can Google, you can look out for more words, pick out a few of them. I would say under the work experience, just pick a few that you feel speak to what you did in your school, and then include it when you're talking about your work experience. Okay, guys, I have a few examples here to just show you how these would look like in your resume. Look at this guy. For example, if I said I coached students for national math and science competitions, resulting in numerous awards. And guys, you can even make it more specific by mentioning the actual award that you won. Like we won the presidential award for science for this science fair. I customized lesson plans for ESL students to improve language acquisition. I integrated, I led professional development programs. So, guys, these are powerful words. They show the HR what you are able to achieve in your school. And I think, in my view, they make you a very good candidate for consideration in that particular job. In addition, for the companies that use ATS machines to like sort through your CVs and resumes, these are the ones they look out for because they want to see teachers who are action oriented, who diagnose problems, identify them, and come up with solutions, guys, for their school. Okay. I collaborated with fellow educators and administrative staff to develop interdisciplinary curriculum project. I guided students in developing study habits, time management, problem solving skills. I spearheaded school-wide initiatives to improve literacy rates by implementing reading programs. Okay, so action verbs, guys, really bring out what you exactly did in a school, and I think they are powerful words to use. So pick out a few of them, come up with some statements, and that you can, use them to apply to your particular situation. And guys, I would want to tell you, make use of technology. These days, there are technology you can use. You know, you can use ChatGPT and other AI-based program to just come up with the first, call it a skeleton of your CV, give you ideas, generate ideas, and then don't just send it that way. Just customize it to fit your needs, customize it to fit your experience, edit it to talk more about you, to personalize it to yourself and your experiences. And guys, your CV is going to be great. All right, guys. So I designed, I developed, I facilitated all these words. You can use them. Just use them to fit your particular situation, and your CV is going to look great. All right, guys. So lastly, I would want to show you just one or two CVs formats that you can use. And like I said, there are thousands of different formats you can use out there, guys. So it's really up to you. Just pick one that you feel speaks to you, and then you can use it. All right, so this is more of a traditional one. I would call it a traditional type. But guys, this is looks a bit plain, but to me it just carries the information of all that you need. So I just created this. The teacher is called Hello Kitty. Is a middle school teacher. There's a physical address, a contact phone number, an email address right there. Professional summary. So guys, like I told you, 2, 3, 4 sentences on this. Dedicated and passionate ELA teacher with 10 years experience, proven ability to foster a positive, inclusive learning environment with enhancing student literacy, critical thinking, communication skills, certified in ESL and BCT with a strong track record of passing praxis exams. Okay, so guys, I'm highlighting the key things that I think an HR would want to see. And there's nothing wrong with highlighting them, even with bold letters like I've done here, to just bring out what you want to catch the eye of the HR professional. All right, guys, education, certifications, like I said. Okay, so if you're board certified teacher, English certified teacher, ESL, praxis test, and so on and so forth. And then you can talk about your professional experience. This is where I was talking about bring out those action verbs. They make your CV, powerful. They bring out what you have actually done and achieved in your school. And I think they are good words to use. So, for example, you can see develop, implement, collaborate, mentor, lead. These are very key words to use in your CV, guys. All right, more words that you can use. I delivered high quality instruction in reading, writing, and speaking, designed and assessed a variety of formative and summative assessments, engaged student, integrated ICT, and so on and so forth. You can mention a few of the skills that you feel are strong for you. Professional development, if you want to. And finally, guys, the references. A quick trick on how to utilize your space, guys. Do you see how I broke this into 3 columns? So instead of having this run to the third page, because this CV is just 2 pages, guys, and you can see it covers pretty much everything an HR would want to see. So you can break your CV into columns to just maximize on space so that you don't have to run, references on one full page. This is enough, guys. I would put in the principal's name, the name of the school, their phone number and email address, and all these will fit in just these 3 columns for 3 of my references, guys. So you can break part of these into columns to just make sure you're maximally utilizing your space. Finally, guys, let me show you this other CV, which is more of the more modern types, I would call it, that people are using. Guys, I just got this template from Canva. If you have not used Canva, you can go to Canva, guys, and it has a lot. You just need to Google teacher resume templates, and they will give you many templates that you can use to write your resume. I got this from Canvas. I didn't need to change a lot. And guys, you can easily make a very attractive resume on Canva. Also, many of those other different CV template platforms that are available online. All right, so the name of the person is right here, high school teacher. There's a statement talking about his professional summary. Education background, guys, you can see this teacher has a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, right there on the first page. So when the HR's eyes falls on this CV, guys, you can see a lot of information is right there, just on one page. Actually, guys, this is just a single page curriculum vitae or resume. And to me, it really captures everything an HR would want to see. Some people will include their picture. I don't think anyone will mind if you include your picture. You don't have to, but some people want to include their pictures, and I think that is fine. Just have the main things highlighted. Your contact information is right here. You can include some achievements if you want to, or you could carry these down to your work experience. You can have a few things about your skills. And finally, guys, references down here. Have three references, include the school, include their position, include their phone number and email addresses, and especially the email address, because for international teachers, many HRs will just want to do that email to talk to your references. Guys, just go online, search whatever you feel would work best for you. Get a template that has these key areas, at least the 7 I talked about. And guys, if you include these, if you use these keywords like the ones you see are on this CV, I decide, I guidance student, I monitored and assess students, and so on and so forth, I believe you'll have a winning teacher resume. And guys, you will get that job that you have been desiring. So guys, let me know in the replies what you think about this presentation. If there's something you feel would make a teacher's resume stand out, just share it in the replies. Guys, and finally, if this was helpful to you, please leave a like. You can leave your comment. I'll subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications bell, guys, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much.